la che son de gu song to ye wo yang zhu to so pa yan de sa ve la ya ma de bo che da ya so ni ga ra be me de shu la ha de chen be ho ne cho da de mo wo yang zhu ze do so pa yan de sa ve la ma re bo che da so ni ga ra be me de shu da de chen be ho ne che cha zhu ni be pa do de an zhu ma sa ma zhe me xie ra ma ro xie ma ye ma ga na ge ngo wo ni so so ra ri ye ji ji ye yo la cha ze lo de ya da ga de pa ra ga de pa ra sa ma ga de bo de so ya de ya da ga de pa ra ga de pa ra sa ma ga bo de so ya de ya da ga de pa ra ga de pa ra sa ma ga bo de so ge re dong da ya jo je wa na me de be je ten ba lu je be zong zo jo ne da jo yo sa chi be ni yo je me ya do da re ra ya le je ni de ni ba ya de sa ni je do me de wa ye ro ge na ma da je ya la che ma yo ye na gu ro ra na ma le na ma ni ya na ya me sa je zhong na na ja zhong ban do da ni ja Dagi Chujun Jibe Sonam Je Dola Beje Sanje Do Parasho Shedan Soje Sonam La Janjo Bado Dani Jaso Dagi Chujun Jibe Sonam Je Dola Beje Sanje Do Parasho Dola Beje Sanje Do Parasho Just a reminder for all of ourselves to take a moment and cultivate the highest form of motivation. We call it bodhicitta motivation or the altruistic motivation, seeking complete enlightenment or Buddhahood for the sake of all other sentient beings. With that kind of altruistic bodhicitta motivation, we should all participate in this discourse on Bodhisattva's wisdom gone beyond. So where we left off in this Bodhisattva guide, Bodhisattva Char Avatar by Bodhisattva Mahasattva Shantideva. So we were dealing with refuting intrinsically existent I or self or Atma. And if self were to exist intrinsically in and of itself, then it would have to exist either as one with or identical with psychosomatic aggregate skandhas, or it would have to exist as being different from the aggregates. So those of you who are using Stephen Batchelor's English translation of that guide, one on page 160, So as Geshe explained, if self were to exist intrinsically in and of itself, it would have to exist as a single phenomenon or one, or it would have to exist as many or different. And so if such a self were to exist, it would have to be findable, right, first within the five aggregates or skandhas. And of the five aggregates, the first aggregate is the aggregate of body, rupa. And so if self were to exist intrinsically, it would have to be found within the aggregate of body. And so we analyze it. We said, so which part of the body is really the intrinsic self or the I? Does intrinsic self exist as one with the body, which means completely identical, right? Or does it exist as being different from the aggregate, which means aggregates and the self are multiple phenomena, right? So when we analyze in that way, we really don't find anything in the aggregate with the body as such a self. So now what about the aggregate of feelings? So we keep on doing the same kind of analysis with every one of the five psychosomatic aggregates or skandhas, and at the end we don't find anything everywhere in the five aggregates as such intrinsic self. So what that tells us is such a self does not exist. So that is the selflessness that we are talking about. So as you may recall that so we are at the moment talking about the mindfulness of the body, right? In that context, we are analyzing if anything in the body exists as such a self.
Sheva yena soba la taba zanyin ji ranshi chuba meba tehi dashi suda somo so la tene taba zanyin be shir lusu ma se lagwa yang ranshi ji chuba kashi yinba jode ma yinba ranshi chuba me somo te yang rangi dashi so tsegi sola tene daba yinbi raji zhiba me tsegi rangi sha sosur shewe te cheni jena rangi yi zhiba me tsegi sha te yang du jendu shewe te cheni jena rangi zhiba me du jendu sha la sabi sho sha sho Iwa yi shene rangi zhiba mi. Cho yi chayi iwa nga rangi denbe cha she de chewe shir rangi zhiba me do. Teta nipe na nanga tori da chewa shenu was. Teta rangi shada daba yinba ti. Tena na du jen zang te yang rangi ye chuba me do. Te yu na ni du jen chami yu go da. Tela chogu shikshar jawa na chara dita chogdi juru. Chuba taja gochi na kumo du jen zang juru. She me nue la. Te tongo ne do deva so je shidong somshi je du shami yu shewa la senzabe bandari tendawe udu ramu du rigbe sha rin yu me tangbo dana yuna sho chu la du rigbe sha chu du jo shami 이만게라 이바다는 뉴데네 탐지 고직도 주베스 뉴트만 뉴베 공부용 뉴제제도 태요시 니시발레스 송바소 뉴제샤면 고시게 리관한지 뉴지 감대양 저의 셔로스 어디 다 거기 뉴샤면 예나이 다 거기 류류스나는 다 수보듯이 수보스는 야다다 과다 강바스는 락바스지 다 락발라 뿡바스 아니 그 랑고서 책에서 소모스 샤기 셔 파 샤 리마셔도 아니 뉴샤모 두고스 근데 뉴샤모데 그 따도를 되는 셔 녀면서 되게 셔네 뉴샤메도 샤 두바 샤 따도서 니는 뉴 샤메이나 뉴 참모직을 대서다 가지 뉴 초유세 디지 뉴직일지다 뉴직 초거데 디가가 공문조 고사직은 되그래 말이지 고사직은 되는 다 뉴초디 뉴 참모직 고사래로 와 고사 소소에는 거 참이래고 말아 그래서 참이래고 무슨 고다 디디 리바디고 시도고야 센자베 리바데디 데 오멜로라 자르소고 해서 왔다 가지
샘자베 가르송베
라
샘자베 가르송베
심자베디 시로돈 시동이요세 디고지 리바자고로 저기 진짜 좋아하죠
유제 참에 메시지로 와
어디 얘나 오멜로라 시나 어디 자르소고 리지고 해서
나는 so basically, Geshe in his commentary, I heard him read stanzas from 83 to 86, and now he started to explain. And so here we are dealing with mindfulness of the body, and so hypothetically speaking, if self-will exists in and of itself, or if there is intrinsic self, then it would have to be found in the aggregate of the body. And so when we talk about body, of course, it is made up of particles, right, at the very subtle level. But at the gross level, body consists of different parts of the body, right, the head and the arms and the leg and all of those things. And so as we analyze every part of the body to see if any of them is the illustrative example of an intrinsic self, or in other words, if the intrinsic self exists in one of them, we couldn't find any such an example, you know. And so once we have analyzed that at the gross level, we couldn't find such intrinsic self. Now we go to the subtle level and look at the particles that constituted the body. And so self is merely imputed onto the aggregates and the parts of the aggregates. But if we try to look for that imputed self, it is unfindable, right, in any part of the body at the gross and at the subtle level. We look at the particles, right, and so the debate here is that it could not be found in a partless particles. And let's say if we have a particle that is surrounded by another 6 particles, right? One part is in the center, the other around. Okay? So we ask this question: that are all of these particles intrinsically one, right? Identical. If they're intrinsically one, then they are indivisible, isn't it? So that's going to be one partless particle. Does it make sense? And if they do exist as different, so then there are no partless particles, because there are 6 particles, or how many number of particles are there. And so this is how analysis goes into a deeper level, even with regard to the aggregate of the body. And so Chitta Martins, of course, they know, or at least they contend, that there are no externally existent particles or objects, isn't it? Everything is a projection of the mind, and Madhyamikins, are saying that everything is merely imputed onto phenomena. But if you try to look for that imputed reality or the self or whatever we want to call it, it is not findable either in the whole or in the parts of a phenomenon.
What is it? That they do some 지금 족시 차타고 길 참어지고 있는 시고라. 다 그래서 다 디레시 내가 저 뉴차고 디레시 콘서트게 뉴족도 길탈 족시 길 지금 콘서트 뉴요로. 제 뉴보드야 콘서트 찍으래. 콘서트 타디 콘서트 찍으는 근데 뉴족가 콘서트 찍으래서 뉴족 세수지 말이 말아. 내 콘서트 찍으면 지금 말을 샤베 샤지를 모두 샤메레도 말아. 샤르비 샤호르비 샤소소에는 샤지를 그래서 샤면은 지금 제로 그래서 제도 말아. 뉴직 고사 뉴족 고사 뉴직 레서 뉴직 뉴직 고사 쉬우 말아. 세다 네바도 니데니 세다 뉴타고 직사도 그 기디들고 사실 샤메 말이 샤메이나 아니 야만도 그 뉴충주지 기고사 찍바려 야만도 셰보데 가가 충주지 야만도 충주야 셰보데 저 어디 살다자 소소 샤메자 세다 샤지에 그것도 샤 가서 샤메 그것도 샤메 말자 아니 어디 가서 뉴디게데 야 샤메 말자 뉴샤메 샤지에서 애들 덴바 말아버리지. 덴바 투어서 차들이 계속 용어로 어디서.
So when we look at the level of the particles that constitute the body, and as this case example, we have one particle in the center. It is encircled by 6 other particles, right? And so now what we're saying is that all of these particles, intrinsically one, And so the question, the literally how it is, are they holding the same locality or space, or are they holding different localities or space, isn't it? If they are all holding the same locality or space, then they all, as they fuse together. And so there has to be one partless particle. We cannot talk about 7 particles, right? 1 at the center and 6 on the peripheral. They all are one. But that's not the case. We couldn't find such a partless particle. But if you say that these are not intrinsically one, intrinsically many, then they are become multiple, isn't it? And so which means there are no partless particles. And the particles do have parts. And if anything has a part and parcel, then that thing cannot exist intrinsically. Okay? Anything with parts cannot be intrinsically existent, because true existence, Themba Drupa, intrinsic existence, Rangshinji Drupa, means that something that has no parts at all, right? It's like almost like a particles and indivisible thing. So like that, when we analyze it, in either case, we don't find either a partless particle or we don't find intrinsically existent many particles.
Keba kong pume kong te tenja kong sa jarang shi ji zheba me de she rigba nga me sheba lia tene kong sa rang shi yi ma zheba te maam yang na kong sa te dare se ji lu rang shi yi me wa yin ba te se shi zha ji be de pume lu rang shi yi ma zheba me de she chu rang shi yi me zheba Taba yinla, ya jana rungu, sa tu la, che ba shi odu ta, disi wa tata tiki ya, 가사 라시 마저 때바 티쇼리야 풍보 제와시 제와 풍보 라이 마저 때온데잖아 에디 최이다미 댄스나 디그리스 요메나 다나디야 류직 건베리 조데자 디기 에디 포모 류소서이나 디리바 찌기 리파 자는도레 이시버지 포모 레레칸 까고 말이 포모 니가 라이 마저 어디 가사샤이 디리바 티 드롭토레스 어디서
부모님가 알수록 하면 찍을 땅에 찍다고
어디서 다 리바디 다데 사지 디도네 어디 다 가와자 쉐제 보마도 조다지 보로로 어디서
So what Prasangika mathematicians are contending is that we cannot find anything that exists intrinsically even to the size of the smallest atom or particle. Okay, that's just impossibility. So here, and as we try to look for an imputed person, or that in the aggregate of the body, whether in every part of the body or even at the subtlest particle level, we couldn't find it. So that it indicates that aggregates are empty of intrinsic reality or existence. So that part is usually called selflessness of phenomena, isn't it? So in one way we can say that we are dealing with both the selflessness of a person and the selflessness of phenomena, right? That together here, so to speak. Also the reasoning that we use here, the reasoning of oneness and difference, or the reasoning of singularity and plurality, or chik tade in Tibetan, better stick to that one. This reasoning, once we understand it and we apply it to the intrinsic self and couldn't find it in the aggregate of the body, we could apply the same reasoning to any other phenomenon. It's a matter of changing the topic or the focus, but the reasoning and analysis remains the same. Let's say if we apply this to, examine or analyze male person in terms of gender, right? Then the same analysis could be applied to the female person, right? The analysis, the reasoning should be the same, because male and female is imputation on the basis of sex organs.
What is the Nipper so Jamanisha Gundul songs, so a Gura see Chubakawa, so a Jura Chubakawa, so a using Rashi Chubakawa. Taboni Duneso Kamba Nishi Tens, Tela, Lurashi, Yeva Masi, Soya Rashi, Tela, Lurashi, Meva Masi, Soa Rashi made. Kete soa dungi tabu chik tiko na nyi dus, chuba yona ni hija chikla, hiju chikla, dungi linji, je shenzi te shenzi munjuwa, munjuwa tadu si, jun mishiwa, wala. Te dana de rabka de yi shi ko ji yi dewa xianyang an shi ko ji dewa jawa la menu de ti ga ne se ne gobe se so se ba je ka mi yo ba so se ba jo ba yo ba jona te me de Dedu Nika Pitcher Renga Suki Shiros. That is the verse. So I do it of Ranshi Joina, and the cook could do Kota Naman Joam, do it for Ranshi to the then do it. So I do it comes out never showers. So that's something so I do it, something do it. It was so short, the year over. So the Debatona, so I do it, Debatona, could do it, Juraza, Ransa Diva. So there were in there, you didn't have to go Dharma than you. So the tea, the was on get together, and so I Debatoya Maris. 어디 풍부가 제바시고라 수분 제바신다 니바 엔 소알이야 제바시야 되는 어디 풍부가 변 소소한지 너버시 풍부가 다히로 와서다 그 거사를 좋아 거사에 쇼카는 그 요는 다히도 건 요거들 직타도 이제 니고 어디 될 제바시가 될 많이나 매다 쇼는 다힐 직타도 제바시는 많이나 더도 해다지를 면도서 뒤에 도마사고 영화로 어디서 야.
So next is, of course, we are doing the same kind of analysis, but it has to do with mindfulness of feelings. Tsorwa Tembanyesha. Tsorwa feelings, Tembanyesha is mindfulness. And we are looking at stanza 88. So the contention is this, that just like from aggregate of feelings do not exist truly. They are not truly existent. And if they were, then feelings could not be changed into anything else at all. As Geshe explained, if we are going through painful experience or suffering, if that painful feeling were to exist intrinsically, then it would have to exist intrinsically forever. Right? It could not be changed into something else. That's what the true existence means in this context. But that's not the case. Our own life experiences tell us that sometimes we are happy, sometimes we are sad, right? Feelings do change, you know. So if feelings were to exist intrinsically, whether it is a happy feeling or unhappy feeling, it would have to exist as such forever. Let's say if we start off with painful feeling, then there would not be any occasion to be happy, because painful feeling would exist forever. Or if we were to be happy, then if it were to be intrinsically or truly existent, then we would never have to experience suffering, because that's not possible. But that's not the case as our life experiences tell us. And so the main point is this, as we said, truly exists self, Tibetan, truly exists self does not exist, and if it were to exist, let's give the benefit of the doubt, so to speak, then it would have to be found within the 5 aggregates which constitute the basis of self, right? So we start off with the mindfulness of the body. We couldn't find anywhere in the body. Now what about feelings? We are not done with our work. So even with the feelings, all types of feelings, pleasurable feelings, unpleasurable feelings, neutral feelings, neither pleasurable, unpleasurable, we couldn't find anything as truly existence. And so like that, when we go through all the 5 aggregates, at the end, when we are done with the complete analysis, the conclusive, what we call decision or the conclusion is that self does not exist truly. Now we cannot say, oh yeah, I checked with the 5 aggregates, maybe it exists over there, right? There is no such possibility, you know. If it were to exist truly, it would have been found within the 5 aggregates. We have gone every one of them in every minutiae detail, and we couldn't find it. So the conclusion is self does not exist truly.
What is your concept? 유는 many magic models 삼성이요 direct 야 태고 뭐 Tibetan Tibetan the 왔다야 되다 so 대화 조지 동해 조지 저서는 그거 동해 대산 매가 가요 제제칼이 동해 제제칼도 소 땅용다 이 소 대화자요 말아 세다 다 대저 거사 동해 소 동해 지가 거사 되길래 소아지 대화다 땅용들이 자요 말아서나 티자요 고수 동고 소소 녀저거 소소 섬지 소아 집어요 그래서 동해 그 따와지 집어 되고 말아 이 소소 고수 저대서 저도 될 때는 애는 그 유예된 저거에 자라히 뭐 저지 그래서 소아야 다 얘도 땅용도 바로 버리게 소소 고수 저대서 저거야 말아 그래서 고수 또
So So as we are dealing with, feelings, really we are, dealing based more on our own, experiences, right? Because we all have all those feelings of happiness, suffering, and neither, or pleasure, displeasure, and neither. And what we see is that feelings are brought about by their causes and conditions, isn't it? If anything, is brought about by causes and conditions, there is cause and effect relationship, then that excludes anything existing truly or intrinsically, but as Gisela said, if somebody starts off with painful feeling, if the painful feeling were to exist intrinsically, then this person would never have any moment chance to experience pleasurable feeling or neutral feeling, because the painful feeling exists forever and it doesn't give you any chance there. Or if somebody starts with the happy feeling, then if that were to exist truly, then that person would never experience painful feeling or neutral feeling. But that's not the case. Our own life experiences tell us that feeling seems to be very random. Anything there is a randomness, that means it is not true existence, isn't it? When the causes and conditions come up, we're happy. Causes and conditions come up, when the causes and conditions, we're like, what? Right? So we have our own life experience of this randomness, happy, not happy, all that. Well, that tells us that the feelings are not truly existent. So as Geshe says, this really how feelings arise at different times. There's randomness about it. Our own direct experiences can verify it. And as we all know that when the things are going well, causes and conditions favorable come together, we are happy, life is good. And then different causes and conditions arise. Now life sucks. It's bad. And then other causes, cause and conditions comes. Life is not bad, not good. It's so, right? And that's how we experience it. And so that shows that there is randomness, the way we experience pleasurable, unpleasurable, and neutral feelings. If feelings are not dependent on causes and conditions, then whatever feelings start, it would have to exist, right, as such forever. But our own life direct experiences do not account for that, because we know, that feelings arise and feelings cease, fall down, then new feelings arise, and all of this, like drama rama, Geshe didn't say the drama rama, feelings, attest to the thing that feelings are not truly existent. So our own direct experiences really here help to attest to the reality that feelings are random and they are not truly existent. Like say when we are going through health conditions issues, then we are not being ourselves, we have pain and all of those things, but now we get treated and we recover, and that's like, okay, life is good. So our own life experiences can attest to that, that feelings are not truly existent, and the Tibetan word rega means randomness, right? Randomness, anything that's randomness. Sometimes it's there, sometimes it ceases, sometimes it pops up. That shows that feelings are not truly existent.
This is the push you and young so be Nasa Dujar, Yachawa, so the Katu, Shedako, Dunge, Tamo Dunge, and I think they got the big Yachawa over there. Chuato and Sweat around the Chan Kuyu, or the Gon is in the court. Could do you the party in Haku or said Judo Dunge, then Dunge Maiva, the oil, then do my or the Musum to 2 years. What is the Rashi Mato this or that day? Dunge maybe Sheta Yamta was young quarter was Doja Shiboti quarter, because 2 hours jail. Quali Gahan shower. But there, Sheta Jibo, you get the qualia, no more to near Nasa Doji, and young caught the Mish of Yongora. She thinks that Rashi Mato be tired of the things.
So as Cecil explained, we can find plenty of examples how feelings they change, and we witness, not only witness, we do directly experience the changing nature of feelings. That right now all families are wonderful and alive and being happy, and then one of the family dies. Well, here comes the tragedy and the sadness, isn't it? Then after a while, anyway, you have to let go, and you're okay. Okay. And then right now we're very healthy and happy, everything, and then we get the bad news that our health is going down the tube, right? Now we're worried, right? That comes up. And so right now it's just like, wow, wonderful, nice to be inside, and then you just go out and it just burns you, like, oh my God, this is too hot, right? There. Somebody out of surprise us with a gift, like, whoa, right? That joy and happiness come up. And then, we think that, okay, my life is really going very well, and then all these obstacles come and, some things. So all of these things, not only we witness, but we directly experience them. So our direct experience is valid. Munsum really attest to the thing that these feelings are not truly existent.
Well, this is that you get and it's Tulo Tower, the sea, she was taking could do that, you would could do anything, say the Yungumar Sena, but the Yungro, that was say that in the Tuaja, the Jibo, the Gosum Sugar, she goes to the gate or what is it?
If somebody is really starving for food or thirsty, well, if we provide them food and a drink, right, and we can witness this person just smiles and looks like gain some energy, I mean, who can say like change is not happening, but right, there's so much suffering. You don't have enough food to eat, that you are so thirsty, so somebody offers you some food and drink, and we can see this person's mood changes,
So I knew that he so the autumn days, doing a second in the Chena, then taking the jarros, that Cursa did to Cursa. The autumn days, doing a second in Chena, but the Washuk Show in the doing was in the what is doing your in the Kurchin Mojina. So thing to go do the cut of the younger Moses. Joata Mingi, they were in the what then they were doing the thing they were doing what the Maroti beings in the Russian to Mendus. Russian to and the Cojujan territory and the court of the Yugo, some of the Yugo, the Chago Marawa. So the Jujan then is doing could you sound the Yungo, Jujama and Yungo Marse, what the Lyons with the Oti Shan.
As the debate or argumentation continues, another reason to say that feelings do not exist truly is that when we have a very strong pleasurable feeling, it can subside the unpleasurable feeling, isn't it? So that change tells us that neither the pleasurable feelings nor the unpleasurable feelings are truly existent. It looks like whichever is powerful one, it somehow overrides a little bit and other changes, right? It decreases or minimizes. So these changes tell us randomness is happening. Anything that's randomness means cause and effect relationship exists, right? If causes and conditions come together, things happen. And when the cause and conditions cease to exist, things also started to change. So this whole production and cessation, all of those things are conditioned existence, and that indicates feelings as such conditioned experiences do not exist truly.
Dewa Tongchen Rim Nyung Dunghe Chamo Yordishina, Dewa Tik Top Dunghe Di Mungu Shivri, so they love in the same concept. Tirishena, on a tea, Dunghe Chamo, Dewa Top de Dunghe Savana, Masena, Dunghe never see Sheni, Dewa Top de Nua, Joe Shi Tibanas. Masena and it Dewa Dunga the Bakani. Dewa Tom de Nua said, the take me to Suta. Dewa Tom de Nua, Dewa Dunga, the Dewa need Debs would get over. What is it?
I think the other side, they're saying that when a strong happiness or pleasurable feeling comes, then the unhappiness or displeasurable feeling subsides, isn't it? So they're kind of thinking that that strong pleasurable happiness is truly existent. I'm looking at that. But then the question we ask is, well, it's not that the suffering or the unpleasurable feeling has gone. It has become decreased. It's still there, subtle, isn't it? It is still feeling, right? It has not become non-feeling there. It's still there. So this changes, mathematicians are saying, indicates that feelings do not exist truly there.
Yangna tele shin gawa tsam shebe thon dungi chamo tene dewa tomde tele shin gawa chamo tsa yin shen de miri de dewa chamo ni dewa ti tsenyi je yin bes chane ya dewa yin ge bes dungi yawa mendrobo she sam yangna chani teyan ti shibe to dewa tomde yin chus dungi yawa mendrobo dungi ki chamo ni ye jewa teya dewa ti ngo yewe che debe so she dos dire dewa yuji orde ta dewa de ba dungi de ba dewa yewe ka dewa de dungi ngo jo re de se ti ngo cha cha re se na ngo cha cha re se na de te mar se ti ka this no ane dungi samo dungi yo se ayo mar de gun dosa ros se ta dewa de dungi de se ayo mar se ta dewa chamo ye na da rakba ye kare ne dewa yewe de dungi yewe de ko ni de du nyam to ja ayo mar ti me what they take me to see is
But can dewa de dungi ngor jur sona so.
Oh, the dewa that dungi tak ba that the dewa che so ko dewa che the dungi de se no dewa ya ko nyung to ma ko len ti ja ra. Ti da ti da so di dewa ti dewa che ya ge do ko kar se dungi rang sa de jo ro. Ro. Ta de du de se che ba ngu su ro ro. Oh, ti se.
알지 제주니 뒤집게 두고 말했어.
뒤집게 두고 말했어.
제주 드라마 연구요 말하게.
라.
서로 드라마 연구요 말해.
소아 뎁스를 시고다. 뭐 삼점 내가 삼점 누구에게 하여라.
그래서 대화도 중에 가서
뒤집어요 버려.
라.
주절이요.
Dorjee tig masang no.
제가 자디 거라.
No. So here, I think the opponents they're thinking that when a strong pleasurable feeling arises, it seems that the displeasurable feeling goes on a back burner kind of thing, subtle, or vice versa, right? If a strong painful feeling comes, then the happiness goes on the back burner, and so they think that this is how the feelings are truly existent, But the Madhyamikins are saying that, whichever becomes stronger, the other one becomes like decreased nature or subtle, but it doesn't lose the nature of feelings, isn't it? Whether it is a gross happiness or subtle happiness, it is gross suffering or subtle suffering, suffering painful is painful, right? Also the fact that there is a decrease and increase, that shows changes, right? And indicates lack of true existence. And as Geshe said, that happiness and suffering cannot simultaneously arise at the same time, right? They alternate, right? Either you're happy, then unhappiness comes, or that is overcome by happiness. It never arises simultaneously. Okay, I just double checked happiness and suffering.
어제 양을 대화 정신이 줘봐 얘는 부시의 양에게 동배 소라 세시보소 세베 지디 가미지 제 동봉라 게디 양에게 동하나 시보소서 동에 당게베 제 대화 제베나 디세 동에 제바 멤베스 동에 메디시네 then dewa then dunge shebe de du so to ba ti mo ba hin ji ta ba zang yin ji rangon de ba mai no she shawa zhe ba she shawa zhe ba yin men de ye ba ta sa du ji ye ja to be on ge de du ye ge du bi ge she 대체는 대기 대공지 년배 사동 때바나 레시 대나이 제양 하선 대체는 동에 제와 해놓으시 어디 또부터도 와서 또지 힘을 아니 또 내가 가도 세는 힘을 주었지 야스 사도를 마시세네 세메사는 그 등에 제어라스. 그래서 그 라시 뭐서 따로 되겠어. 다 때문에 그 라시 저대에 그 대화견의 지식들 뭐 등에 지식이 뭐 그야 또 지식이 내주지가 지금 말았어. 어디서.
So as Geshe explained that whether it's happiness or suffering or any other such feelings, they don't truly arise or exist, and if they were, then whichever feelings were to arise and exist, it would have to remain unchanged forever. But that's not the case, and we looked at many other examples before, and some other examples given is that when we are hungry, kind of famishing for food, and if we eat a delicious food, at that moment we are just happy, isn't it? But then, if we are not moderate in eating and we overeat it, that same delicious food, it can kick up some problems, isn't it? Now, as Geshe did say, our stomach get bloated, and all these things can happen, and they start suffering, so all of these things tells us that the pleasure or whatever is not truly existent. Rather, food at a certain point of time, you are hungry, it nourishes you, it's great. Now you overeat it, then it can kick up problems, displeasures there. So this indicates that these are not intrinsically existent. These are related to, our behavior and cause and conditions there.
년소라스 년소라 네버스 그다음에 대들 소아랑게 고 따냐 대범 티 이체는 소아 대버는 zemba 티 ni nyimbo soa de me ye number jebe se ne de gombo shade de no soa din zidan zidan ngozen ge nyimbo tom de bi shero se di gumzu ne so tobe sheregi soe tagdon la number ta sing jebe se Shingsa le kosa number jebe shingsa le shungyi shede dongyi le migbe lagdong dang teta jedong le zejeu du number joba dongyi gombe se samde te shine kombar shene nenzo baye se tabe lu pende jeba shibi shir nenzo baye tobe lu pende lu pegi jeba shibi shir seki shade kasade tamel shingzali shunwe seki lu jeba shiba shenos 어디 딩인지지 타멜제 루장 제버시비시 예중게 세소 셰도스 the thing is the thing is the thing is says mingda시로 저 ming다 그래서 세세의 류 제바나 이 thing is 고는 류 제바 thing is 류 차요로 어디 그런 thing is says laris 어디서 다 거기 뒤지가 류랑이 주바메버데 리베 조사세 팀마도 조사데 다 류랑시메 공고데 공고자 다디 베 타신도 가니 근데 돈이 고바 타도 치우다 실라소리 내서도 공고리스 어때 다텔레 띵이지 세세리서 디레지레야
So Geshe-la's explanation pertains to stanza 92 there, and so I think the commentary more so, or maybe in the, let me see, in the root text, or the root text, the word doesn't appear. There's mention of eating the food of concentration, things in Geshe. So why this is called food? Like the regular food nourishes us, our body, in the same way, the food of concentration also nourishes one's physical well-being and mental well-being. So that's the sense of it. It's called things in Geshe, food of concentration. And it really refers to the yoga of unifying calm abiding shamatha and vipassana, or special insight into emptiness. And so as we go through this kind of analysis of whether or not self truly exists, is truly existent, right? And we look at it within the aggregate of the body, aggregate of the feeling, and so on. And at the end of all this analysis, we don't find imputed self or such a self anywhere. So that indicates the selflessness or the emptiness here, right? So once we are convinced there, now we should meditate on it. And so meditating on that emptiness requires combining, if you will, the calm abiding, shamatha, and the special insight vipassana. So this yoga, integrative yoga of shamatha and vipassana pertaining to emptiness, it really nourishes the yogis, in both physical and mental well-being there.
Lakdong las dene hine gomba sheba dene lakdong jitunbe angdu zeba wang yangna Hila Nika Trupsin Shiki, Teta Goma Imba, Shiji. Still, Hadong Trevor Songching. Shundi, something Liu Yang. Shini Rabbi Trip, Rabbi Dembe, Shizu Sumba Shiru. Study Hadong, Shini Josea, the Moon Sansak, Yen Hadong, Shini Joa Yomarisur. Josea, Hadong Tobagini, Shini Togo. Tada de Hadong, Shini Josea Karisana, Hadong just to Basina, Hadong Jawad, Hadong Motokoni. Chebashini Gumia, the Sigos. The Gum Gangalia, Chen Gumada, Yamajo, Jejo Gumni Dogova, or the Chebashi go at the Ladon 6 job ceremony. She does have the winning chops and Koshini Dogo Yamaris to this.
I'll end up the Chebache, the Shineking Alla Tata Delia can think in Celia, Chanel have not said the Lagna Chetimbers.
What is a mother? They could, that's how I said there was a curse. They couldn't go. Then he knew Josiah. Says that this is the Numjingo says again, she knew to dinner Ladon Togo. Gedo. Says that the Ladon then he knew Josiah. Ladon Jetibas, Ladon Winnie Marie, so this is.
So Geshe read from the extensive commentary, and so there seems to be mention of cultivating shamatha or calm abiding on the basis of vipassana or special insight, and the explanation given is that that's the wrong order. It doesn't work that way. If you already have special insight, the assumption is you already got calm abiding. But what we are talking about here is that analytical meditation, right, which really usually is the one we do for special insight, and so that kind of critical thinking, it is in affinity with special insight. So this is like a similitude of special insight, not the actual one. The actual special insight could only come after we have cultivated shamatha or calm abiding. But this kind of analytical meditation that we are analyzing doing, this could happen even before calm abiding, because analysis can be done. So someone who claims that one cultivates calm abiding on the basis of a special insight, that is incorrect, right? It's the wrong order. Calm abiding comes first, shamatha, and then special insight. So when you actually have the real actual integrative yoga of calm abiding, special insight, that means you already got the calm abiding first, and then you have the special insight, the emptiness, that's combining it.
Shonjuk Simtambo Simbe Twacheba Yisha so Gombe Tse Ton Gombe Tse Ton Tavata Kunzabe Nyaleni Shewa Sombe Kunzabe Nyaleni Ranye Yula Soa Dewa Jebana Simjin Shina Ninja Jedi Tela Rani Soa Dewa Jega Dizigi Meditation Tongxin Tongyi Toba Dobe Higbe Tela Siba Mejawa Simjin Shin Tawa de Maybe Mebali Siba Jito Siba Toy Share Dance Siba Dewazani Rejection Yamba Chuba Devate Devate Sheso Sombatar Devatana Nina Deva Shod Siba Inde Devagu Nani Si Seva Sheso Bataru Tikin to Soa Dunga Yunia 一些教说了教如些松说是，我这个大看见，他在底下，你做掉下的东西下的呀，西边别让西马上我们做掉不的，这种西边掉下的，后来呢掉咱们这呀，同的人家可以买这些东西，可是人家做的，可是。emba chuwa dewa de tele emba meba desda rowa emba sananga zu sabra nasa de rowa sara nasa ina ali chede zang dewa zi yungo rowa tele ko tawa ko sabra nasa ko mena de ka ko chemu ka se sibe dewa choyo ma ri so ta ka ji sibe le choya dewa de jogo ri so ta so.
So Geshe-la's reading of the commentary says that, of course, here, we have dealt with, how happiness and suffering, Dewa and Thungel, do not exist, truly or intrinsically, so the kind of happiness that we should be seeking is the happiness of state beyond suffering, not the happiness of samsara, and that's not our goal. To practice the Dharma. So as Arya Nagarjuna stated in his precious garland, Ratan Avali, Rinchen Tenwa, that the pleasure or the happiness of samsara is akin to if somebody has an itching problem, right? When you scratch it, you feel really good for a moment, isn't it? But it's very temporary relief. What's better is not have that itching skin in the first place. That's better, right? So scratching the itching skin and feeling giggly about it is like the samsaric happiness pleasure. That's not our aspired goal. Our aspired goal is the happiness, that we could experience, going beyond samsara.
Nipa kede so kangbo neji de la der sowe ju rigba dinro ka bi gone se jibu so dinshin ko ba yina rigba shi chawati tani jeta so zena mini be shi rang shi ji ma zho bu 대라 토마라 엉보도 통체바 정시 주고고바니 게데 엉동이 체와 정시 유는 미소지 엉보 뒤등 수소 동지 뒤차라니 체베 세 딩일라 파리어도 미 파르다 제와 있는 뒤드다 강도 체바 저데 마제바타 파다지와 제와 강시 파르데 니모능 두당 세모 문두 좀바 베베셰로 파르메네 데가 체바 메데디 춥다 오마다 뉴진샤미 제베세 데체바나 체마디제 샤니예나 샤메디 되베 탐자 냥신 샤니메는 당이 탐제게 탐제도 최고라 고사 눈이 뉴니 대다시나 고사직도 제베 세 뉴니 예도 저웨 데라 체와서 강시 체자 강나 체바 조르데 체자지 니 마음이 비셔로스 뉴체바 펜지 테더 체바 메베 주제는 다 저바니 샤메 뉴니샤 샤메 뉴체 직 샤메 뉴제 현 조바라 조바 템바 메비 셔로 쳇데 뉴데라니 직 직 주롱에서 주 발급동 법이 세다 편지 저 봉주 시주 냐바 이비셔로 어디서 거기 다 뉴체체사 체 참여체야 뭐 참여체가 그래서 그 체스도 저거는 직접 봐 템버서 저 체하면서 거기 봉조 냐바 직접 거기서 직접 봐서 시대 체스 참여체 체야 말이지 참여체야 말이지 체버서 되는 직접 소수 템버도 쉬우디요 말이 시대 뉴 참여도 체버요 말이지 어디서 그래 뉴참이 그런 메시지는 체버 용어로 와 뉴참이 체버 뉴참이 그런 요구로 와 어디서 그래
그 딩인데 그 옹보서야 되게
라
옹보다 미다 유치여 봐게
옹보다 미다 옹동 소화된 이 속동 저식으로 어디서 그래
어디 제시처럼나 디 제시디 좀 스틱처럼나 옹보다 소사지마 게 듀얼 페서나 디 땅마기 디 옹보디 제시처럼
라 옹보다
미기 옹보다 다
어디 메가 옹보스나 먼저 속동도 메가 옹보다한테 태네 메가 속진거로 와
라리요
로
디파루라 파르동 여러 마스게 시고로
다 됐어 다 체마도 세대 대 어디서 그래 옹보 속진으로 와 소가 속진으로 와 제가도 거의 체스는 톡받지 그 체스는 저거 뭐 톡지는 저 거사 저 지어져 대 요말 세워 요말 시고로
노서
어서데 거기 체스는 마제베지 따서 근데 체머리 가야 매제베지 누구로 체스는 됐어다 가제 지금 거사도 지금 해줘다 다 맞은 가가데나 근데 영거 소된 내가 보자 지금 말로 거기 재미로 샤도로 제서는 지금 해도로 맞은 가서 되는 미시지 말아 미실电学我 어디서
알지 믹셰기 다 유수로 따져가라 믹셰다 왕보다 유숨디
어디 체버다
체버다 랑시르베 체버다라고
어저데서다 레레 저도 체마데서다 체스도 거의 톡반저지 톡반스는 그 거서 저 효고레스 뒤도 안보 수제세 소아 수제 소자 저 거서 저 효마로 어디서
Okay, so I just asked Geshe that he skip a stanza, he did go back. So we're looking at stanza number 93, because Geshe jumped to 94, so I had to just request him to go back. So here we are looking about how, in the case of visual perception, perceiving a form, right, three things are usually happening. There's the visual perception, which is the perceiver, and then it's dependent upon the sense faculty, right? And then it sees the form, which is an object, isn't it? And so they are on a dependent relationship, but they are all not fused together as one. There are three right things, But if these things were to intrinsically or truly exist, then they all have to be just one entity, right? And then we cannot talk about three things like there is the visual perception, then the visual faculty, and the object, because they all have to be, Teba means meet, Tibetan. The way Geshe explained Teba is like they have to fuse together, and that is not how it is, and so therefore, they are not truly existent, So the next one Geshe explained is about the particles. And so there are, in the first place, no partless particles, dul chame in Tibetan. And so one cannot talk about the Tibetan words meeting among partless particles. But I like the word interaction, but of course it may not work. Meet. Yeah, so if partless particles in the first place don't exist, but if hypothetically speaking they would exist, and then if they meet, then they have to fuse together, then only then there could be partless particle, but that's never been the case, and so that's also a reason as part of reasoning to refute true existence.
chaba draba ne skete du la shuki temba yena kongbo du zang ni jola du le la mashu king mademana ran gosa sosor ne gobe tela jeva mebi chabjin manjibe chamewa da cheba mebi chawo tena cha tadi meba alayang cheba shisha shedar te nyama jote cheba tawni cha meba yewa ni shijila sa dua misibe tendawa tseme madome shiru tede chegi teda yewa tawni dewa shi nyela dama shi cheba te tenda mebe shir don't minus sauce. Do some cheva your marcia. Sit down, do put your rules or cheva your. Do some cheva your marcia. Do some cheva, you don't take the yours be done the trade out the minus. So this is it.
So the stanza 94, as we said earlier, that visual perception, depending upon the visual sense faculty, perceives its object form. Yeah? And so none of them exist truly. If they were, then we have to say, are they truly existent one or many, right? But now the next stanza is to dealing with the sense, the visual sense faculty, which is regarded as a matter, and the object, which is a matter. Yeah? And so this constitutes particles, but they are not constituted by partless particles, you know. And then as we say, they are they meeting in the sense, the sense faculty and its object form, right? Meet means are they fused together, right? If they are fused together, then maybe they are partless particles, but they cannot be, right? And so in the first place, for any two things to be integrated, those things must exist as such, but in reality there are no partless particles, so one can really talk about partless particles getting fused together, you know, there.
No, that is how.
So we have to stop there today, and as I said earlier, please save your questions for the next week. It's Happy Mother's Day, and we will do our dedication prayers, and then we will feed our moms, you know, on time. Lord, Jiaozi, Yudong, Began, Geshe Phuntsok Gyeltsen, Memba Shen, Tenba Zinla, Wangdo Jiche, Tanya Chugun Chola, So Wang, the page 5. Ma Wang Dame, Gunjian Donga, the Kari Jongso, Nida, says Jamgun Jawa, Niwa, Yapse, Tangsong Tenzin, Mawe, Shiva, Tenzin Jeve, Yingong Zeve, Shiji, Nugun Changzhu, Tendu, Longdo, Tamzhe, Bebe, Beiyuan, Duja, Yazu, Gundo, Shartse, Tesang, Gondang, Chezu, Zombe, Yongzo, Yure, Tube, Nyake, Longri, De Yin, Lube, Peden, Ba, Tubden, Kangri, Dona Gongben, Zeba, Namda, Dendang, Rove, Penden, Jongwe, Hundro, Jumi, Chebe, Chenle, Geshe Dorjee, Dendo, Shabden, Sho, Jizu, Lame, Togye, Molan, Geshe Dorjee, Dendang, Zangmen, Tu, Chozong, Tudo, Chido, Chida, Memben, Dungu, Lundo, Sho, page 9. Ranja Jinge, Wombo, Tseba, Men, Zodo, Namje, Keyun, Drama, Chozo, Zeye, Lazo, Tamje, Dade, Mishi, Chogi, Mudu, Tubden, Jedang, Losan, Jawa, Shiro, Temban, Zimbe, Beiyun, Tade, Duje, Jongwe, Yangdu, Ninje, Wombo, Shabden, Sho, Jiden, Sungwen, Chana, Beme, Tembe, Zawa, Soso, Tawa, Namda, Chudi, Yangda, Lamba, Losan, Genden, Bedo, Shabde, 推中教子农子养百姓，三脚南绝上至人，公中喜乐松竹列别的，天别阿当。前边东岸国王宝座的，这边的浪四月梦着的，这边等等这些长着，记住新年全部小人，前边浪多古线在大人，这边查查年做让山，上边的节日过一些路，顺便新年全部小人。天上如浪这边点点，民众大觉上边谁见吧？拉人这点点着别想，土地人民全部小点说，就算叫我世界见了，土地当今上面从南见，大家拉上大边点，其他人都说上主身说人不知，马也把人解决这，也话娘把没。国内共同别我说，东尼大瓦人不知，马也马南也话娘把没把，国内共同别我说，沙西北京就是没到账，热了零七年的上街行动没得为我。如果难道行了，就把手抗日让为国为新港所偏袒的话马律中，现在是往天津叫做下边7点8度电就及一档过热热呢。你养大呀面叫我滚到养大拉满等边面确见不了逻辑。萨达冷界原点รับ做罗杰长远我把牛多。